What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Try Time Podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Callum.
And this is episode 74. Also, my comeback video. I've stopped being French. I'm back. I've clearly left all the good-looking France according to Catalans. And yeah, welcome back to the UK.
They might not want you back. You might get a lot of hate on this because it was such a success last week with people enjoying me ramble on. I mean, I don't think I've ever had as much of a dry mouth as I did after speaking non-stop for that long. But we went through it. But yeah, Matt's back now, which is good because, as you know, he does a lot more of the rambling and just goes off on the tangents where I can just sit back and relax.
So basically, you're happy I'm back so you can sit and do sod all is basically what you're saying here.
Well, hey, I'm what I don't know what you want to call it, producer, editor.
Yeah, that's true. Someone has to edit this pod tonight. It's not me. So
yeah, exactly. So
well, there you go. So you should have to do everything this week then.
But how was the Olympics? How was France?
Yeah, really good. As you can see, I didn't bring a gold medal home with me, which is always a disappointment. We did try and heist one from an Aussie, but it didn't quite work. But no, in all seriousness, it's extremely warm. I've basically died in the heat, not been eaten to death by mosquitoes, which is a bonus. And yeah, I've not brought a beret either, so you know.
And I got one question for you. Obviously, you were over in France when the Olympics on, the big occasion, big event. Would the World Cup, Rugby League World Cup in France work? Yes or no?
Stadia-wise, absolutely.
Right.
The question is the interest there across all of France? And that is probably where the crunch point is. Because outside of that little southwest corner of Perpignan and Toulouse, you look at the French Elite One, all of the clubs are clustered together. It's a bit like the UK, really, where half the clubs are clustered in the M62.
Yeah, no, true.
And is there enough national interest in a sport that has been ostracised for years to generate that? And, you know, obviously we had the PSG project. It didn't work.
Yeah, so
it's... I really wish we could have seen it because I think it'd have been a really interesting World Cup, and I think a lot of the UK fans would have gone over, to be honest.
Yeah, I think they would have done. It's what stadiums they could use. Obviously, they'd use Toulouse, they'd use Catalans. I've
come out of some of the massive stadiums there, like one of them was either the Stade Velodrome in Marseille. You could host a final there. Like, that is absolute world tit. 67,000 something daft capacity.
Yeah.
That's a final venue potentially right there. What it's quite like when you've got, say, let's pluck a random group matchup nobody's going to really be quite as invested in and go for Wales versus the Cook Islands, for example. Or, you know, one of those games actually, it's probably not got a huge amount of natural support. Where'd you put those? Because obviously when it was over here, we kind of used stadiums like Gateshead Park, didn't we, for that one?
Yeah, the smaller grounds.
And I'm sure they do exist, but obviously I've not seen to what standard they are, given I was only in like the big league and multinational venues like Groupama in Lyon as well. That's quite a nice ground. Nice, they've got a decent little one on Riviera. But yeah, the big infrastructure's there, but then you'd expect that to be. What I will say is the actual infrastructure of getting between the venues is not as UK sophisticated.
Oh, is it quite hard?
Well, it shouldn't be, but it turns out even in France, they don't build train lines that don't melt in the sun. And I feel like they should expect this more than what we should.
Oh, what? Did they shut the trains off because of the heat?
Oh, we're supposed to have a 90-minute high-speed train. The line melted. So we had the stopper service, which had no running water, The air conditioning was broken. It was 38 degrees Celsius and it took 4.5 hours.
Wow.
It was the worst journey of my entire life. It felt very race across the world, like, to be quite honest. It was very much like the 17-hour overnight Thailand train where everyone has their feet out or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, it was that level of this is horrible. Get me off this train.
Oh, wow.
But so if the Rugby League World Cup goes to France, get a car.
Yeah.
That's the best advice.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see what happens.
But it has instead gone to what? Australia. Yeah.
Yeah. Keep it what they know is going to do the job, I guess. But
I mean, haven't thrown one. Is it PNG they've thrown in as well?
Yeah, usually is though. In like in 2017, we had PNG games were down at Port Moresby, which seems to be a success. I mean, we could have PNG NRL team by the time that World Cup comes around. To be fair, so
well, that's true. Yeah, I mean, interesting that New Zealand are omitted from the card.
Is it just Australia and PNG? Is it not?
Yeah, New Zealand aren't involved, which I find a rogue decision, but
I'm surprised they wouldn't go for like just hosting one just in New Zealand.
Yeah, you'd have thought so.
With the big, I know New Zealand is big on rugby union as well, probably more than Australia. Like Australia is very league based, but obviously New Zealand have only got the one NRL team there. It could be a good sort of idea for spreading the game, I guess. But
there you go. Maybe interest the Super League and RFL that are narrow-minded.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll save this for no doubt. It's the classic off-season when it's international break pod. Is the
what when we're desperate for shit to talk about?
What should we do with the international? What should the international calendar look like? And
right, I've already got a rogue plan for a World Cup, so I'll save it to reveal in about 3 months' time.
Yeah, I mean, I remember us doing one, and we said we should have like a Nations League like football system, didn't we? Where it's like and stuff, and it'll never happen.
I mean, look how much it's taken to get bloody Samoa Test off the ground.
Yeah, and it's still only 2 games. Like,
yeah, if that finishes 1-1, it's going to be the most pointless Test series in the world. How do you decide it? Like, you can't have a 2-match test.
Yeah, especially because I think the Tonga tests were actually a big success. Not just because England won all 3, but like, they were all busy and they all felt, like big occasions like they should. So,
well, going into it, no one expected England to quite perform the way they did, really. We thought Tonga would do more than that.
England were not the favourites for any of them games. First game, everyone thought Tonga were going to be better. Obviously, England won. But then second game, you're like, well, Tonga are going to be better this game, surely. And there wasn't. And third, you were like, there's no way England actually win all 3. So surely Tonga get one back here. And they just never did. But
obviously, Samoa got the whole World Cup revenge storyline as they, of course, denied England of a final on the home turf. So that could be an interesting one. And I'm just waiting, for 1-1, probably by the same points difference. And then we'll just be like, well, now what?
Yeah, exactly.
Golden point until something happens. Like what?
I'm going to say it's like World Cup, though, isn't it? I guess we beat them, they beat us. So it's like, I could see a similar thing happening again. Anyway, it should be good to at least have some sort of rugby on it.
Which we are at least hoping to get to. So if you guys are coming to those, then you might see us there, albeit we've still not bought any tickets. So.
Yeah, I know. I completely forgot about it, to be honest. It's like just completely at the back of my mind. But
well, I'm just celebrating the fact that Magic Weekend tickets have actually been posted with a decent amount of time before the event and have arrived. So
yeah, that'll be a good one. Which I imagine it will be a vlog, probably.
Probably.
I mean, if we've vlogged some, we went to bloody Swinton and vlogged it, so we've got to vlog Magic Weekend, haven't we? Really.
Does that mean it's going to be the full weekend vlog and we've got to tag Bradford's random Sunday night onto the end of it?
I don't know, we'll see. I don't know. I think we've got 3 full games of rugby. It's going to be world's longest vlog if we tag Sunday afternoon, which no one really gives a shit about, to be honest.
Oh my, you're admitting it now. There we go. We've got progress. No one cares about Bradford. That's the new title for the pod.
I think I'm getting to the point of not caring about Bradford at the minute, to be honest.
Is that because, well, actually, I guess first thing is we need to get your Photoshop skills in order because it's time for the rebrand. It's the Bradford Bottles. 24 all, again, second bottom in the league when you were 24-8 up with 20 minutes to go.
It's not even the
what in the Tottenham Hotspur have you done?
It's not even the point of the second from bottom thing. I don't care. If we'd have just gone into that game and drawn, and it was just a close game drawn, I wouldn't even be that bothered because we never win it, Barrow. It's just a bogey team and it's a hard place to go. I wouldn't even be bothered. It's just the nature of us being up. And at that point, you kind of just think, we're all right here. And it just, I've seen it too many times this season, though. That's the problem. And it's ultimately what's holding us back from ever doing it. Because if you want to, we're not going to do all from fourth, fifth, sixth, because you just don't get we need to have at least a game at Odsal, which I know you get if you finish fourth, but we might not even get that now. So it's a bit calamitous, really. Because I'm not going to wait a week.
The question is, are you overreacting to one result, or is...
No, well, it's 2 weeks. We haven't, since Toulouse away, we went to Toulouse and drew against Toulouse.
Yeah, but no one expects you to beat Wakefield.
No, but we went to Toulouse and drew, right? A couple of weeks later, they're fucking dicked Wakey. So that's a good sign for Bradford. Wow, Bradford must have done really well. Just throw it away. Just shit. Absolute shit.
Well, just pretend you beat Barrow and lost to Toulouse, then your points are still the same. Everyone's happy.
Yeah, but I've been doing this in my head, but at the end of the day, it's a point's a point, but it's not.
So it's time to talk about the coaching issue, because as many of you who follow all of us on Twitter will have probably seen, the child has been chelping up again, hasn't he?
I mean, it's all he does. I think if Harry's got 3 things he does in life, I think one is go to Catfish in the Bottlemen concerts, because he's been about
Catfish, work, gobshite.
Yeah. The one thing he doesn't do is go to Bradford games. That
is the irony of it. But obviously, and I guess it is kind of a point here. You're 6 months into his first real head coaching job, and you decide to offer a contract extension. Was that the right decision still?
I think yes, because a lot of the reports at the time were that there were teams circling around him a bit in Super League to tie him down and obviously make it so that if he does end up going, we at least get some form of compensation. And I'm not thinking it's necessarily his fault. Don't get me wrong, I don't think he's perfect by any means, but I think the team as a whole, the stuff's not working, too many injuries, and then bringing in players on loan, it's just not worked.
I'm going to say, is this a problem of squad chemistry, given you're on squad number 45 at this point?
Yeah, I think it is.
And that's not actually a joke either. We're genuinely in the 40s.
No, I'm thinking it is 45 because Sam's 45 now.
That's ridiculous.
And then we've got bloody your favourite player to come in. Whatever it is bloody called, Franco, Romano, whichever one he is. I actually don't know which one we've signed now. I can't remember which one.
You've signed Franco.
Yeah, he's number 46. So.
Well, you'll be all right if bloody Battieri and Seguiero come back again.
Well, yeah, but I guess they probably can't now, can they? Well, yeah, it's mad when you think of some players we've had on loan this season. We've had Corey Johnson play for us this season. We've had Keenan Brand played for us this season. You got to think early season.
Sorry, Mr. Love Island.
The amount of wingers we've actually had. We had
Jaden Ockenbaugh.
No, you got to think start of season. Obviously, we had Blackmore, who's now fucked off to Keighley. Players like that. Then we had Carr on loan from Huddersfield. We had Douglas on loan from Wigan. You remember the Swinton gate? Tyndall.
You had Tafua, Tyndall, Ockenbaugh.
We've now got
Shaw's played on wing for
We've got Smith now. Lehman, who's...
Yeah.
And obviously Tafua, who's obviously the main one, but he's not even playing, he's out, so it's what?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I don't understand the recruitment decision, because why on earth have you bought Ockenbaugh? He's not up to standard.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree on Ockenbaugh. But yeah, just even if I'm just thinking now about his shirt numbers in the game at the weekend, there were only 3 players who had a number between 1 and 13. And that's Lily, who plays every single game. Holmes, who, since he's been back, has played every single game. And Gill, who, again, just, to be fair to him, just seems... I'm touching wood here because he's the best player, so he just never seems to get injured. Do you know what I mean? Them sort of players who...
And then you've got other players like Franklin Pelle's missus touting himself on basically Indeed.com to try and get a new job.
I mean, Pele isn't necessarily the issue. I think Pele had a really good game at weekend. I think it's almost like there's certain... I get the loan thing, and some people, Bradford fans, are not happy with the loan system. I get certain bits because it's like, for example, if you've got a player injured and, right, instead of, we're not going to be able to replace that player, let's get sort of a couple of players on loan who can do it. Like, he just sees them as a prop. So, like, we are missing a prop, so let's get a prop in. And to a degree, in the middle of a season, it's not the worst thing. Because a prop's a prop. It's a position where you can interchange in easier than any other. But the problem is the props we're missing are the good props. Like, you're missing like a Lawrence, a Smith, the props who actually offer some form of control in the ruck, which we just don't.
And instead, you've got Franklin, Ball, Pele.
Franklin Pele is great, but you need the other ones. We didn't even have Doro at weekend.
Yeah, but this is the problem. Pele does a certain job, and that is to break the line by big runs. What he doesn't have, he's not a ball handling prop.
Yeah, and he's not just a prop who's going to just play big minutes if needed. Like Lawrence will play 80 minutes if he's needed to, and he'll just control the game. He'll calm. Like, there's no leader in that pack. And that's no one's fault. Like, no one should be expected to be a leader. There should just be leaders put on the pitch already. Like, there's no.
And it begs the question of, if you need that leader in the pack, considering you spent half the time playing at 6 anyway, why was Flanagan let go for Ott to play as a half?
Yeah, although Ott were good as well. To be fair, a weekend, Ott, when he came on for Suter, were really good. At hooker, obviously, which is his main position.
But again, he's not a leader.
But yeah, I get that to a degree. But then Flanagan sometimes did some stupid shit. Like, I'm not going to excuse him. It's like, but you'd think like you'd have that with like Davis and stuff, but stuff just doesn't. But let's not just rant about Bradford, because I know people probably don't give a shit. But yeah, we'll see what happens at weekend.
Well, I guess at the end of last weekend, then, if we go back to the league people care about, KR are top of Super League. What? Now, obviously, we're recording this on Tuesday. Wigan have not played Lee yet. We'll touch on Super League Tuesdays in a second. But I'm trying to think, this far into the season, when was the last time we had a team that wasn't one of the big 4 top of the table? And was it Castleford 7 years ago?
I'm trying to think now. Well, Catalans are... Well, who's your big 4? Warrington in with actual big 3?
Well, for the last few years, it's probably Warrington, Wigan, Saints, Catalan.
Yeah. So you're not even going Leeds. Yeah, I get that, yeah.
No, I mean, you can probably... Leeds haven't been top since 2017 either, and we didn't win the Shield that year, so probably even longer. We've probably not topped the table since 2015 final day.
I mean, you might have done, because, like, first game of season and won or something, or I can't remember.
I don't know, we've got a shit record in round 1, but anyway, yeah, not like deep into the season where it's meaningful.
Yeah, but no, it probably is. From what I can't think of anyone, unless Salford have had a stint up there on their run. But that's
still thought not that high up, to be honest.
Yeah, but no, I mean, fair play. I mean, we went to the Hull Derby first game of the season, and them 2 teams have gone in completely different trajectories. Like,
one's top and one's bottom, pretty much.
One might be bottom way. Other thing that we're going to speak about, which happened this weekend, and it's definitely not been a good weekend for Hull FC fans. Put it that way. After a couple of good wins and stuff like that, and sort of stuff being positive.
Yeah, Saints got the mojo back by basically playing against the handicapped kids, didn't they?
Yeah, but it's not even like I'm not even saying Hull had a bad week because they lost. They had a bad week because KR are top at lit table and London just beat Catalans. So if London start winning games, it could be.
If we want to talk about shock results of the round, you can't go any further than that. I mean, nobody would have picked London to win, even with Catalans' ropey form and poor travel this year. Like, what is going on at Catalan, I guess, is the kind of the big question here, as much as that almost sounds disrespectful to London, who just produced one of the performances of the season.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because I mean they were a drop goal away from doing the same thing to your lot, to Leeds. So
yeah, they've certainly had the moments this year. And again, this is why I don't like the fact that they're heading straight down before a ball was even kicked. Because there's already signs of life in that team, and it's already been ravaged by, other clubs. I mean, does Leyland sign for KR if London offer him a multi-year deal and can guarantee Super League for 3 seasons? Or would he stay at the Broncos, who are probably then going to be willing to spend more and go full-time because they've got that guaranteed Super League income? I mean, they've got one of the biggest sponsors in the league.
Well, yeah, they have, haven't they, really? I mean, what's bigger? You've got Hoover, Home Bargains,
obviously
Brewdog. I can't even.
I mean, if we're doing national presence or actual financial impact, you've probably got LBS.
Yeah.
But I don't know quite what presence they've got outside of Yorkshire. There is one in Manchester, ironically, but
I can't even think of. They were just ones that.
It was Salford's. It's not Mitsubishi anymore, is it?
I don't know. You've just played them at weekend. You should know.
I didn't go, so. No, I was not particularly paying much attention to what was on the shirt. Oh, it's Selco, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Is it? Or is that not even that might even be this year's, actually.
This is great podcasting by us.
It is. It's incredible. It's because they have such a. Anyway.
Oh, wait.
It is Selco. Yeah, I am right.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, either way, Brewdog, massive sponsor. London, massive marketing opportunity. Results on the pitch improving. Being picked off like vultures because they're in the Championship next year. Stupid.
No? I agree with
and
that.
The problem is now you can't even turn around and reverse this decision because the damage is already done from that.
Yeah.
Because they were finishing last before the round one even started because they made the decision not to go full time, which, considering where they were at in terms of the hand that had been dealt, I don't blame them. It was the sensible financial decision. And now half the players have gone elsewhere. So if you move the goalpost, you've shafted them again.
Yeah, true. It would have been really interesting if any of the other teams in the playoffs, outside of probably Sheffield, went up. Because they obviously all would, like, if it was Toulouse, Bev, or Bradford,
if it were Toulouse, Bev, or Bradford in particular, they were kind of the top 3 IMG point championship clubs anyway. I mean, Toulouse were in this league on the provisional rankings. So they would have gone at it to try and get, say, 9th or 10th and get those extra points to maintain the status. But
they would have, if they'd have won that game, they would have really solidified, I reckon, in Super League. Because they had the IMG and they'd have built a team. Like the team they had when they went down wasn't even that bad. Like they
weren't far off staying up, let's be honest.
Exactly. And this year was terrible at the bottom.
Time before, when they were only 2 points off.
They'd have finished high. Like, obviously, you don't know who they'd have signed and stuff, but the way stuff's happened at Hull FC and Cass and stuff, they definitely would have been not on the bottom.
Cass seemed to have somewhat recovered a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong, they have. I'm not saying they'd finish above Cass, but I think they'd finish above Hull. Would Hull have done what they did now? I mean, the fact is, it's not like Hull, like Cass kept a lot of salary back and just didn't spend to the cap knowing they didn't have to almost. Whereas Hull did. Hull spent shit ton of money, so Hull went for it almost for a playoff finish. And
well, Hull have signed big, haven't they? I mean, they brought in Pelly, they brought in Ockenbaugh from the NRL, SASA as well, and only one of those is even still there because the other two were that.
And Farmanu Brown as well, who obviously
well, he lasted about 5 minutes, didn't he?
Yeah.
The new Jake Clifford and all that. The only thing they've got in common is neither of them play for FC.
Yeah, true. But
I mean, that's probably all of last week in Rugby League. I guess on to this week, and we'll start with tonight's fixture, which is kicking off in probably about just over an hour. And that is Wigan and Leigh, rugby on a Tuesday. How do we feel about this?
If I were a fan of one of these teams, I'd be absolutely buzzing because I think you can't beat a night game. Maybe this is just me because we don't get night games often. We only get a few a season. But they are just a bit more exciting. But I always loved the Monday night, like, championship games where you got to go to, like, on a Monday, you go in to watch rugby, which you wouldn't usually do. So if you're at work 9 to 5 or whatever, like, you've got something to look forward to on a day like that. So if I'm a fan of the team, I'm happy. Also, if you're a Super League fan, it's a Tuesday, bit of rugby on telly. You can't really. I don't see much complaints. I get how a problem could come with travel and stuff, but that's the same as a Thursday. I don't mind it.
And also, it's Wigan and Leigh. Like,
Wigan and Leigh. Yeah, Wigan and
Leigh. The running
Leigh
joke is Leigh at a bus stop in Wigan. Like, there is travel's kind of out the equation. It's summer holidays. I don't actually have a problem with it.
I think it's great, but obviously, I also know that the reason why this is because of the World Cup Challenge, and the reason it's here usually, like last year, the World Cup Challenge, obviously Saints was in that, but Saints didn't get to the Challenge Cup final, so it went in a Challenge Cup like semi-final.
I feel like historically they did it in the early rounds before the Super League teams even came in.
Yeah, maybe so. To be fair, mate, yeah. But I know this season the reason why is because Wigan got to Challenge Cup final, obviously won it. So it's a Tuesday, but there's not wrong with that.
No.
I think it's deep. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm probably not going to be watching it, but
you'll be editing this instead.
Probably, yeah. But it's one of them where I did touch on it last week. Like, I'm a massive Rugby League fan, as you know, but I'm not a Super League. I don't support a Super League club, so I don't really have a horse in the race. And sometimes it can be tricky just to watch Super League. I don't know what it is. If there's other stuff on, it's just if you're a person who's like not even into rugby as me, I can see why you just wouldn't turn it on. There's so much other options out there that are competing with it, whether it's Olympics at the minute, whether it's cricket, whether it's, football's about to be back on. Like, there's so many different, options.
Any random Super League game over the overly family-friendly 100 any day.
But you see, you know that I love a bit of 100, don't you? So that's an all separate bloody entity.
Well, I mean, the whole fact that I find children to centre of attention with the 100, with all the crap they put on, and you're like 100, yeah, he probably says a lot.
I think it's good. I think it's really entertaining. I mean,
give me T20 any day. Don't cater to families in it too much. Like, I don't want the breaking play for however many seconds to have the bloody in stadium announcer gathering 5 kids for a screaming contest. Like, just change batters. It's not that difficult.
But the thing is, the 100 has done for cricket in terms of the franchising, the events, getting people in. Get so many people now like cricket because of the 100. That is exactly what Rugby League needs. That's exactly what the Think IMG is. Like, getting people there and just the events.
Two simple things to that. Number one, do it better, because it is incredibly difficult to say who do you want to win. Northern.
Well, yeah, I'm not asking them to rebrand the old Super League.
We could just shove Durham in for the sake and not call it Yorkshire. Number two, there's an easy solution to this, and it's called pick whichever number you want, 7s or 9s. Done.
Yeah. 9s, like a 9s, a little mid-season 9s tournament or something.
Yeah, puts Lockie Miller to use at long last.
Yeah, I mean, it'd certainly be something. But I mean, I think we should have some sort of nines, sort of.
Easily, like it's mental. You
That'd
look
be,
at you watch rugby sevens and it has zero relation to rugby union, and it is so much of an easier watch because of it.
yeah.
But it's a gateway.
No, I think if you had nines, you could sell out like the Etihad or go down south if you really want with it. I wouldn't even mind.
Let's not run before we can walk.
No, I reckon you do a weekend at a big stadium, like a big Premier League stadium, whatever capacity you want, 50k at least. You'd sell every club in Super Leagues there over the weekend. That's bigger than Magic Weekend. Like that'd get people there.
But it's
Magic
less
Weekend.
stale.
Magic Weekend gets people there, but that'd be exciting. And
the problem is Magic Weekend gets people there to watch their team, then they sod off, or they don't come for the first game and it looks dead.
Yeah, but if
because you've not seen nines done as a concept in Super League properly for years, people will go and they'll watch the full thing, and it's bite-sized games. Like, exactly. What is it? 9 minutes each way.
Something like that, yeah. And exactly, and if your team might be on, they're going to be back on in a few hours. Do you know what I mean? Like
it's two teams you hate come on or you don't care about. I'm like, all right, well, by the time you've gone to the toilet, got another pint, got your chips or whatever, your two teams are done.
Yeah, exactly, and you're back. So I think that would be a good idea. I mean, we're just completely reimagining rugby league here, like IMG should do.
Well, the problem is we're doing it better.
Yeah.
We should do it, although if mandatory is, we do have to change it to the Bradford bottle jobs.
Well, we won't be bloody in it unless you're going to do a championship one.
I don't know. We could invite some teams to rock up for the sake of getting some more fans in. Let Wakey in as well.
Yeah, well, they'll be there. Well, they'd be there next year. So.
All right, well, the team that's going down then, we'll let Huddersfield in.
That'd be a turn up for books, that.
Actually, that doesn't add more fans, does it? So let's not add Huddersfield in.
Take them out as a Super League team and put.
Tell you, that's my outside thing. That Huddersfield in trouble.
Give me a Championship All-Stars team instead.
Oh God, that's an interesting lineup right there. But
I mean, it'd be a good team. It'd be competitive.
Well, I'll give you that. That's true.
Just a team of Kai Rodwell, Aribi Doro, and that's all you need, isn't it?
Well, I mean, what about the League One All-Stars given their latest acquisition?
Yeah,
and that is the return of Jake Mamo, who is very well suited to nines, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's hurricane season. I mentioned last week about how good of a season they're having and about how it does appear that their sort of approach to their own expansion project, I guess, has, it's worked. They've been patient with it, and slowly the improvements are there every year. Mamo coming in is just another sign of that, really.
Interesting to see if he's still got it, because obviously he's been out a couple of years, had a lot of injury problems towards the back end of his Cass and Warrington career. And obviously we've seen Tompkins come out of retirement and watch his side slip to a defeat against London. So it's not a guarantee, is it?
No, but in League One, I think it's worth the
Gavin Henson.
Yeah, and that worth the risk. It was no harm done, was it? Really, he was shit, and he went.
No harm done, but obviously that's two right there, big names that have gone to that level and not performed. There's no guarantees with this signing at all.
Jake Mamo could play one game and be shit and be worth it because might get people through the door as a big name.
I guess the problem is it's a big name, but is anyone that's going to go watch the Hurricanes even aware of who he is if they didn't watch rugby beforehand?
Maybe so, yeah.
Whereas if he signs for even somebody like a Workington, you've probably got more awareness of who he is.
Yeah.
To be that pull.
No, that's fair, yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see how it goes anyway.
I'm going to say time will tell with that one, I think. But it's definitely, on the surface, a good bit of business for Midlands. Shows a a degree of intent that there must.
Well, it's got people talking about them within the rugby league community at least, which got to get those clicks for the IMG points.
Exactly. That signing alone will put them above some other bloody dross that are down at the bottom there.
Well, I mean, that ambition alone probably puts them ahead of some of them.
Ahead of they should be ahead of some of these.
Well, they'll be ahead of Newcastle, I'd imagine, because
and Cornwall, but they should be ahead of Hunslet. I know the history. I'm not saying that, but there's no way in hell.
Hunslet don't have anything going for them at present. They don't own their own ground. It's one stand. They're solid League One club, but not really shown the ambition that they want to progress into the Championship.
And it's one of them where it's there's no. If you were had to bet your house on which team we're going to get in Super League first, Midlands or Hunslet, you'd say Midlands because of the potential, whereas Hunslet, like you say, it's kind of.
Well, I mean, I could do that, and my house would be safe that I died anyway without it going to But
problem is, Midlands will probably bloody disband and be discontinued.
They'll be renamed something else in the general area.
I don't even know.
It'll be the Shropshire Sharks next.
Yeah.
But no, I know what you mean. For Hunslet, it's kind of they've got this meaningless existence almost in the nicest possible.
I feel bad because I'm not just targeting
an oversaturated area they're in, and obviously they've got Parkside in. Or is it even Parkside anymore?
No, because they've just merged, haven't they? So it's just
so it's Hunslet Amateur Rugby in NCL.
Yeah.
So how many clubs in that area do you need, given half of the people in Hunslet who are into rugby are probably Rhinos fans anyway?
Yeah, that's your issue, because that is actually a bus stop in Leeds. Whereas
literally is. I go past it on my way into town if I get the bus.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the issue with stuff like that, because you don't get that. Bradford, people might say, "Oh, well, what about Bradford and Keighley?" But Keith is
further than you think.
Yeah, it is. It's not, even though it's Bradford postcode, it's not,
I mean, Cass and Fev's probably your next closest one, but they're both simultaneously big enough to sustain it. Whereas
they're their own towns, whereas Hunslet is
literally a suburb of Leeds.
Yeah, exactly. It's not quite that. I'm trying to think of another good example, maybe. But
it was like when we saw the League One proposal, wasn't it? And there was the reforming thingy. I've forgotten the name now. Began with B.
Brom. Which one? What? The one of the proposed.
The one that's literally in Leeds. Bramley. That's the one.
Oh yeah.
Again, suburb of Leeds. What are they going to actually add?
Yeah, because it's not a big enough area or an established enough rugby league area where the people who
fantastic little community club level, and but I don't see where they fit on the professional model compared to obviously your likes of Gould and stuff that at least are their own area.
Yeah, but I mean, time will tell with who gets that, and that'll be a good pod when that happens anyway.
Yeah, or whether something completely rogue that we don't even know has been submitted wins.
Yeah.
And before we've got rugby's next great expansion project, the Roman Empire. And everyone's flying to Italy for League One.
Maybe so. Maybe that's what we need,
It didn't work well with bloody Toronto, with all the hoo-ha over Catalans, Toulouse, Carcassonne. I don't think adding another country in the mix is necessarily the wisest move yet.
I mean, we could do a Carcassonne, but I mean, problem with Carcassonne is you got Carcassonne, it's like you're in 1800s. It's completely. Oh, I don't even know what the right word.
Well, I know the French are a bit backward, but they're not that bad.
No, as in it's not. I'm not talking about the people. I'm talking about it's basically like a historic town. It's not modernized to a degree.
Yeah.
You go. I'm sure you went places you went to Nice, so it's obviously different, but it's like a city that you'd get over here in terms of the tourist.
It's very medieval, yeah. It's kind of like I kind of in some ways think it is the French York.
Yeah. What, Carcassonne or Nice?
Carcassonne.
Yeah. I mean, have you been to Carcassonne?
I've not been myself.
Yeah, but it's very old-fashioned.
I want to go because it looks a really nice place, but
It's
I've
like
not been yet.
It's a little hot spot for pensioners, English pensioners who want to see some fun stuff.
Okay, when I'm scared what actually goes on in Carcassonne.
Yeah.
Are you going to tell me this is like the elderly dogging capital of France or something?
No, it's just full of like old historic buildings that have not been touched. Whereas I then got a train an hour road to Toulouse, and it's like being in Manchester.
Did the train melt in the heat?
No, my train were quite good actually.
Oh, but lucky. But yeah, I think that's rugby comprehensively done in 45 minutes.
Yeah, just under, but we'll take it, I think, for this week, which has been a fairly quiet week, which I guess now the transfer window's shut, it's going to be more, the results are getting more important every week, and, we're gearing towards playoffs. I'm sure we'll be there in no time. And yeah, we'll maybe have to come up with some novelty stuff to fill in.
Then Jesus Christ, we're in the off-season, we're going to have to come up with content again.
Yeah, we'll get some ideas and do some stuff, because if we have another week like this, which maybe don't have the London win and stuff like that, we might need to get some stuff in. So
we'll make sure you subscribe and stick with us through the dark times anyway, because we've not mentioned it at the top of the video, which we
literally said well,
I remember to mention it at some point, so I've done better than you.
Yeah, that's true.
1,000 subs by the end of the year, and we will give away a Rugby League shirt of your choice for the 2025 season.
Yeah. And
one lucky subscriber will win something.
If you're just listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you've probably got a YouTube account. I appreciate the fact you listen to us rather than watching us. Just go over there and just
subscribe. Make one and just subscribe. We're not going to demand your watch history or anything like that to be eligible. Albeit if you are a Russian hacking, scantily clad female bot account, then we might have to respin the draw.
Plus, also, if you've got family, right? You watch us and what you want to win, but your family maybe don't want to share. Get them all subscribing, right? Then you've got more chances.
So there we go. Callum's done his best family impression there, like he's from bloody Fast and Furious.
Right. Is it time to go? Because I've got to go watch 100.
Oh, for God's sake. Are you actually?
I probably will watch. Yeah, I probably will.
Meanwhile, I will be getting food and sitting down for the Wigan League game, so it says a lot about that.
There's no way you're going to watch that.
I am going to watch it.
Oh my!
Yes. Which I don't know I want to win.
Right, you can live tweet that then.
Well, I don't know I want to win, because if Lee win, the Jumbos for 7th, but equally I've accepted we're not making playoffs, and it would be quite nice if Wigan don't win the Shield, just so it's a bit more competitive into the playoffs. But at the same time, there's the part of me that thinks Catalans are that shit at the moment. Somebody might still slip up and give us 6th. So I don't want Leeds taking it.
Season alive, so at least when that game we're going to in a few weeks against Catalans, could be a really big game. So
well, that's a good point actually, and this will be one we'll probably touch on next week in the run up to Magic Weekend, because we are fucked with that draw. We aren't beating Warrington.
I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, we'll see. We'll preview Magic next week, I would assume.
Yep, I believe so. And Magic in the shittest venue it's ever been in. Let's go.
We'll give us. Well, I reckon sorry, before we go, we'll give a.
You sure the first batter's not coming out yet?
We'll give a prediction for each game and go get head to head and see who gets the most right.
Oh God! Right. Okay.
We'll make it a thing.
Right. I'll let you Photoshop the table a week in advance. And on that note, I'll put him to work. Goodbye.
Yeah. See you later.